Derrick White has started out in a big-time slump, and I've got the stats that show what might be behind it. It's right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT. Karalis recap the madness every game, every practice. Primetime Deb and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I'm talking about them like every day for the next 2 weeks because I got bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends, and they're playing both Friday and Saturday this weekend. Tons of free podcasting. It's all available wherever you get your podcasts. If you like to listen to them, if you like to watch them, it's on YouTube. You can get into the comment section, share your thoughts. With me, I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've been covering the team for about 20 years now. I've written a couple books about them, and today we're talking about, later on, we'll do reactions or just reactions. We'll just see if maybe we did overreact before. We'll kind of take stock after 4 games. I'll get to the Derrick White stuff in the second segment. But first, let's go back in time with Tom Westerholm. What up? How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good.
Celtics got the win. So we were talking about like 0-7 wasn't off the table. 1-6, 2-5. Still
0-7 was really not off the table. Midway through the third quarter. It was teetering.
Right. But right before Derrick got that steal or block on DeAndre Jordan, and fed Anthony Simons and just basically lit a fuse that was just fireworks.
Yeah.
It was still in doubt. It was still in doubt. So, but
it was funny because like on the NBC Sports Boston broadcast, like Scal said, I'm a little worried about this game. And then immediately they went on that run. And then Scal spent the rest of the broadcast being like, I was really wrong about that. It's like, you weren't, man.
No, you weren't wrong.
You weren't wrong at all.
You're not wrong. We should have been worried.
Yeah.
You should have been worried. Absolutely. Which is like, the one thing that we talk about is, I talked about this last night. Like, is it the Celtics went out and took this game, or is it the Pelicans couldn't make them pay? A little bit of both. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of a mix there.
Yeah, I think a mix is the right word. I think it was like a very mixed bag. Like, for one thing, like DeAndre Jordan is not Jaylen Duren. He's not Karl Anthony Towns. He's not going to punish you the way. I mean, look, DeAndre Jordan, like, I'm ecstatic for the man that he's still like dunking the ball like the rim insulted him, right? Like that he's
still getting up there, man.
Awesome.
It's great.
18 years in the league, his knees can still get up and dunk, and he can just, I love it.
Yeah.
One time for all the late-ish 30s guys out there. Me and DeAndre Jordan, one and the same is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, right.
You're so dismissive with that. You're like, you can't even play along. You're like, yeah, right. Anyway.
No, like I think the bigs is a big one, right? Like that's like Pelicans did not have the bigs to punish the Celtics the way some of the other teams did. I think also like the Pelicans just straight up aren't as good as a lot of those teams, right? And so like the Celtics were more able to go out and take a game from the Pelicans and say like, all right, like, but I think, and I think the biggest thing though was just the threes fell, looks, this team's going to be able to beat teams when they make threes. And that was the case last year. That's the case this year. Like when Anthony Simons makes shots like that, this team's going to be hard to beat. That is a dangerous weapon. That opens things up for Jaylen and Peyton Pritchard. And, it opens things up all around the court. Sam Hauser got a couple of threes in the fourth quarter. Like when this team makes threes, they're going to be dangerous. And when they can out-rebound a team and they make threes, they're probably going to win the game. Like, I think, it's kind of what it came down to last night.
And that is the thing. Like, we look at that Pelicans game, and I said this yesterday, it wasn't that it was a materially different basketball game. that the Celtics something clicked or anything like that. And Jaylen Brown after the game was very, very much still in the, hey, look, it's good. It is still going to take time. I loved his line of like, I hope they gave us more than a week to figure this out. And it's true. They are in the process. This is again the same thing that we have been saying. It's going to be a tough beginning. They may figure this out somewhere along the way. The optimistic view of this early point of the season was going to be can the shooting get them through the other stuff that they're figuring out? So when the shooting is there, you see the Pelicans game and a win. And maybe if we're looking at can the Celtics turn things around, you hope that Peyton hit a couple of tough shots. Derrick, we'll get to Derrick in a minute. But he hit one, you're like, okay, you just hopefully that you see one and it starts to maybe trigger something. Anthony got hot. Jaylen has been great.
Yeah.
Shooting the ball. So maybe there's a world where, okay, I'm not optimistic about the Cavs game, but
No.
there is a world where, okay.
I didn't mean to be that dismissive a second time, but no.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
But the Sixers, the Sixers just been so like Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe been just like insane.
Yeah.
If they have like a normal game somewhere there and the Celtics shoot well, they could beat Philly.
Absolutely.
So taking 2, is there a third game? Can they get that Houston game? I don't know. I think when I look back at the Pelicans game, that's the one thing that if you're trying to be an optimist, if you're trying to just put the green goggles on and be like Celtics faith, you hang your hat on. Anthony went off. That's him getting comfortable will be huge. Peyton was great in the 2-pointers. He was one made 3-pointer away from having a good 3-point percentage. So he could be climbing back. And if Derrick can get back on track, it's not going to look as bad as it did in the first 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. And I think it's also worth remembering too, right? Like when we talked about this for these first 7 games, like we said that they might go 0-7 for a reason, right? Like there's a lot of tough games here. It wasn't just because we were like, oh, we don't believe in the Celtics. It's like, no, like even the Pelicans game was the second night of a back-to-back, a third game in 4 nights. Like Jaylen played 24 minutes and that was such a blessing for the Celtics that they were able to like let him sit as long as they did. That was huge.
That foul trouble, that 5th foul was actually the best thing that could happen to the Celtics.
And it's not because they're, they're better without Jaylen. Like that's not it at all. The thing is like that guy needed to sit for a little bit because if he goes down for any like extended stretch of time, this season is like throw it in the trash, crumple it up and like, really get on the Dibanza train at that point. But like, I mean, that was really big that they were able to do that they were able to get Jaylen some rest, because that Pelicans game was always one of the most winnable ones out of these first 7, but it was also still a big challenge. Like that third game in 4 nights is hard, and they the fact that they won that, like you want to put on green goggles. Hey, this is a team that's really struggled first 4 games of the season. They've had a tough time, and the Pelicans kind of pushed them a little bit, right? Like the Pelicans made them work for it and they stuck with it and they still won in less than ideal circumstances. Like Zion Williamson wasn't playing, so that helped, but like, they still kind of stuck through it and were able to play tired, play through it, make some shots. Yeah. I mean, there's reasons for optimism. It's not just that the Pelicans stink, although they kind of do, but it was a nice win.
Yes. All right. They're going to need Derrick White.
Yeah,
we'll get to more like looking forward and assessing our reactions in the third segment. Derrick White, if he can't get going, then that's a problem. The question coming into the season, we talked about it, was can he create for himself? What's life going to be like without Jayson Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis? And the shot profile. I have stats. Tom, I can't wait.
I'm so excited for these stats.
These are.
I don't even know what these stats are. You wouldn't tell me.
I won't tell you. I will tell everybody when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Quo. One of the tools that helps make a huge difference for a business owner is Quo, formerly OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system that you've heard me talk about before, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or your computer, so you don't have to carry 2 phones or rely on a landline. It lets your whole team share one number and collaborate on calls, texts, and a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. There's a built-in AI agent that can answer after-hours calls, capture leads, and keep business moving even when you're off the clock. That is a game changer. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly OpenPhone. Get started free and get 20% off your first month at Quo, Quo.com, Quo.com/LockedOnNBA, Quo.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Today's show is also brought to you by Rippling. If you're a business owner, here's something else for you. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow you down and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That's SAD, software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is a unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. It removes bottlenecks and busy work that slows teams down. That is always something that you need to get rid of. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access runs automatically and perfectly in sync. It's seriously simple to use. It gives companies one source of truth for their people, data, and everything they touch. And you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNBA, RIPPLING, rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Check out Locked On NBA Game Night. I will be on Game Night tomorrow, the Wednesday show with Jake Madison, covering all the games in the association. So check that out. Locked On NBA on the same feed. Covers all the big storylines of the day. Game Night is 7 days a week. Locked On NBA is 5 days a week. Find that where you found this podcast. All right, Tom. Derrick White is in a little bit of a slump. His shooting numbers are down. He is not scoring well. It's just been a struggle for Derrick. His shooting percentages this year, 32.9% overall. These aren't the stats, by the way. But 32.9% overall, 25% from three. He's taking 11 3-pointers a game, 2 more than he took last year, and that was a career high by over 2. The question is, why, Tom? These are the stats. Do you mind if I get dramatic about this?
Please.
Okay. I'm gonna put my glasses on. Glasses.
Do you have like applause and you have booing? Do you have like do you have like one of those sounds?
Do I have one of those sounds? No. Nope.
Dramatic gasp.
I got this to signify his shooting percentage, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I got my notebook here, my Wilson basketball looking notebook here.
That's good. Yeah.
For people listening, like, don't care, but I've put my glasses on and I've pulled out my notebook for dramatic effect. Derrick White, as a pick and roll ball handler this year, has done it 31.2% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, 22.8% of the time. So he's a pick and roll ball handler. It's up about 10%. His spot ups this year, 19.5% of his possessions are spot ups. Last year, 34.1% spot ups. That right there, and I got more numbers, but that right there, let's just talk about that for a second.
That's big. That's a
big 15% drop in spot up shots. And more time as the pick and roll ball handler, which is That you can see that in his game, and catch and shoot is a more efficient shot, right? This is where the Tatum Porzingis departure, unavailability is showing itself, where he has to create more for himself. And if he's not spotting up and getting catch and shoots, then he has to create for himself. Before you react to that, quick, small sample size, because it's only 23 made field goals, but 15 of those are unassisted. That's 65, a little over 65% unassisted. Last year, that's a flip from last year, where 68% of his shots were assisted. Were assisted. So last year, 68% of his makes were assisted. This year, only through 4 games and only 23. So it can change tomorrow, like in a blink.
Yeah.
But 65% unassisted. He has to create for himself a lot. So before I get to the other numbers, that right there is very, very telling with Derrick.
It is. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know how much I even have to add to that. Like that tells the story, right? Like that is what happens when you lose Jayson Tatum. That is what happens when you lose Drew Holiday. That is what happens, like on a much less talented team where your role goes way up as the lead ball handler. I mean, I guess I want to hear the rest of your stats before I get too deep into this. I'm curious to see how he I'm curious to see how he develops in this, because I do think that like Derrick White is a really good basketball player, and I think he'll get better at this as the season goes on. But yeah, no, I want to hear the rest of your stats before I get too deep down that rabbit hole.
One more set of stats. Closest defender. So on wide open shots, which is like 6 feet away, that he's taking, this is percentage of shots taken. Last season, 36.1% of his shots were wide open. This year, 24.3% are wide open. So it's a 12% drop in wide open shots. Spread out over the open shots are the same. He's getting the same amount of open shots. 34.5% of his shots are open.
Okay.
But with the defender up tight, which is 2 to 4 feet, which is very enough space to challenge shots. This year, 15.7% of his shots are tightly defended. Last year, 9.8. So it's a 6% jump in shots where the defender is on him, and a 12% drop in shots where nobody was around him. So those are my stats. Those are my Derrick White stats.
And a 15% drop in spot ups, which
and a 15% drop in a little bit more than that in spot up shots. So he's not getting catch and shoots.
Yeah.
The defenders are on him. He's not getting as many wide open looks, and he's not getting as many. He has to create for himself because most of his shots are unassisted. Most of his makes are unassisted. It's a complete change for Derrick. It's a complete change, which makes me say I am not worried about the slump necessarily right now, because this is such a dramatically different kind of role.
Yeah.
The preseason was so meaningless that like Jaylen nailed it last night when he was like, we're out there, we're seeing, right away you got guys in your face. It's like, we're seeing it at full speed. Like, it's going to take time. If you trust Derrick White, which I do, he has earned my trust as a basketball player.
Yeah.
I think this is something that needs time to shake out. And that's going to be the game slowing down for him again, because I think it's just moving too fast right now. It's other guys making shots.
Yeah.
It's some of it is like scheme. It might be a change in the personnel, the grouping that he's with. Maybe you put Simons in the starting lineup to take a little bit more of the attention, and you take some of that away from
just going to pitch that. Yep.
There are little tweaks that can be made. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, these numbers show that Derrick White's screwed.
No, certainly not.
I think what these numbers show is it's going to take a minute for Derrick to be like, okay, because he's smart enough, and he is getting looks. He's taking a lot more early offense 3-pointers. Maybe he needs to settle that down a little bit. I think he's searching for his shot a little bit. I think if he just settles down, calms down, and just runs a little bit more offense and lets the game come to him a little bit more, he'll be okay. But what these numbers show me is he's getting used to a new role. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah. I think I'd be curious to see what happens if he, like you mentioned, he's taking more early offense shots. If he was able to, if you put more lineups with him, and even if you don't start Simons, if you more lineups with Derrick, Pritchard, Simons in there's going to be defensive issues with those lineups, not because of Derrick, obviously, but who's the other two? I'd be curious to see what happens then offensively if Derrick is able to kind of take more of a facilitating role, less of that. One great way to have the game slow down a little bit for you is to be more of a facilitator, right? Is to dribble through the pick and roll, and you're not putting it on yourself to take the shot. It's not, I don't have to take this shot. I can make this pass. I can trust that things are gonna, if we keep working the ball around, things are going to work out a little bit better. We'll get a better shot, generate shots, right? That's a big thing we talked about last year, was how often they were able to actually generate shots as opposed to just hoisting them. Stuff like that. But I'm with you quite a bit at this stage, especially. It's so early. This is such a new role for him. This is a new role for everybody, right? Every single player on this team is in a new role. And it's not going to look pretty at the start. So I think it's a little jarring when it's Derrick White, because with Derrick White, you just think of this, perfect, solid, does everything correctly kind of player. Right. And so it's when Derrick White is doing things wrong, it's all right.
Yeah.
Something's wrong here. But
when the smartest kid in the class is struggling, then the subject matter is difficult.
When the smartest kid in the class is struggling, Brad Stevens really made things hard on these guys.
We'll take this into account.
Professor Stevens really advanced things too quickly on these guys.
Yeah. It's like they skipped a grade. It's oh my God. So let's look forward and take this into account, because I think Derrick White's performance is just something that you have to consider moving forward. When we look at what we thought the Celtics were going to be, or has this changed anything about what we think they're going to be moving forward? We'll talk about that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Peloton, shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. The Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps. It suggests the right weights, which is a big mistake that people make. A lot of times people use too much weight. Peloton IQ suggests the right weights. It corrects your form, so every rep is safer and smarter, and you can get those gains. The swivel screen is a game changer. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training without missing a beat, and the personalized class recommendations keep you engaged. You get workouts tailored to your vibe and energy level each week. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Make that your second listen. Join Josh Lloyd, get his expertise, and win your fantasy league. He's going to get you filled in on all the ads, the drops, just the lineup moves that you need to win your league. He's the best at this, and he will help. So check it out wherever you found this podcast. Tom, Celtics 1-3. They are now going up against Cleveland, which we're both like, okay, it's not going to be an easy one.
Nope.
Philly, it kind of depends. It's Maxey and Edgecombe, man. You might, if put Philly aside, that feels like your kind of guys. Like Maxey and Edgecombe, just
absolutely. I mean, awesome basketball players. Maxey especially. Honestly, I was so impressed by him over the last couple of years. Just because there's guys, right? I think it speaks to the modern NBA where it's a guy with his physical attributes, right, could have been a star previously, even if he couldn't shoot. John Wall was a superstar and he couldn't really shoot. And you were able to scheme some of that out. But then Maxey comes out and he's just banging 3-pointers. And then he's also running that fast with the ball. I mean, he's awesome. He's a really great basketball player. I like him a lot.
So funny. I'll always remember I was in Kentucky visiting friends and they had a game. So I was like, let me see what this is all about. Let me see what this kid is all about. And I don't do a ton of college scouting. I usually wait till I get to the NBA. And I went there and it was literally his worst game ever. It was his absolute worst game in college. I'm like, this is the guy? This is what people are going crazy. Really? I'm like, this does not impress me at all.
You weren't alone. He was a top prospect coming out of high school. And then he went, he wasn't a top 5 pick or anything like that.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so it kind of depends on, Maxey's going to make the decision, I think, on whether the Celtics win or lose that game on Friday.
Okay, one more Maxey thing real quick. If you Celtics fans hate the Sixers, right? And fair enough, obviously, right? Big rivalry. But Maxey's interesting because Celtics fans, I think, hate the Sixers and also really hate Joel Embiid.
Yes.
Right? Maxey's hard to dislike on the level that Joel Embiid is. It's you can't dislike him that much.
Yeah, no, I don't dislike him.
You can because he's a Sixer and Celtics fans hate the Sixers. That's fair, totally. But the other stuff with him is he's not flopping around. He's not.
He's legit. He's legit. He's legit, and he seems to be having fun.
Oh, he has
he's having a great electric personality. He's just
he's not even talking that much trash. He's just out there running really fast.
He's just he looks like a dude that's having fun. You're like, it's not that you. I don't know. For me, it's not even I hate him because of the Sixers. It's it's a shame that he's playing for the Sixers. I want to like this guy more than I do.
Sure.
So, but then you get Houston, which I don't know. I don't know what to make of that game. It's probably going to go poorly because Houston is just massively big. They're just
I think that's the thing. Yeah.
Even if the Celtics are playing well, it's going to be wow, the first shot defense was great. And then it's 35 offensive rebounds because they're just all 10 feet tall.
See, and I'm curious about that game because I do think that there's something to the level of attention to detail that the Celtics will have to pay in that game, right? To not give up literally a 100% offensive rebound rate. They're going to have to pay really close attention. They're going to have to be really locked in. And you can't do that for an entire season, but you can do it for a game. I'm curious to see if that matters.
That's going to be a fascinating game because it could go absolutely horribly.
It really could.
It could be a real good test of their discipline. They're okay, we all know what the scouting report is. Crash and torch the Celtics on second chance points. Houston is massively big. They're going to try that. Everybody knows what's coming. Do you have it in you to fight that? And it's almost like a where's your pride? And they might still do everything right and lose.
Yeah.
And even if that's the case, so be it. If you look at the film, you'd be like, look, they were boxing out. They did. It's just Derrick White was going up against, whoever and, just jumped over him and got the rebound. So they're 1-3.
I just looked up Steven Adams' career highs in both points and rebounds. 27 points is his career high in points. 23 rebounds is his career high in rebounds. Do we think that he can break both of those in the same game?
Well, he would have to break his career high in rebounds to get those points.
Yeah, right.
So,
that's true.
So the answer is yes. Unless I don't know, Chris Boucher decides to go full Robert Parrish and just karate chop the hell out of him. But he's this, Steven has this big Australian dude. He might love it. He might just what's that? New Zealander. Yeah. But what, Oceania.
Sure.
If you karate chop him, he might not, he'd be like, haha, good one, mate. And he's wipe the blood off his head. He's all right, let's go. That's how we're doing it. Let's fight. So yeah, it's entirely possible. But then they've got Utah, Washington, Orlando twice. Orlando's offense is hot garbage.
Really bad.
Garbage. So the Celtics, like,
rumors of the Magic winning the East may have been over exaggerated just a smidge.
yeah, like I think the Desmond Bain acquisition was doing a lot of work in those predictions.
Pulling a
It's doing a lot of work in those predictions.
Yeah.
It's not out of the question. I mean, look, the Celtics could go in a little bit of a like I was talking about 0-7.
Yeah,
but I will gladly be like four games in a row. Could they do it? Utah, Washington, Orlando twice. Tough to beat the team twice, but you know, again, they've got size and they're tough, but they can't score to hurt the Celtics. So there's the possibility. Okay, let's say they go 2-5.
Yeah.
They could end up 6-5. You know, by the time they face Philly for the third time, in 4 weeks, which is weird. I'm not going to put that out of the question either. 6-5 Celtics is not out of the question. So when I look at 44 wins, I'm like, that's still in play. A 44-win team is still in play. What do you think about that before I follow that up?
Yeah, I think even if you go 3-4 against, like, even if you plan on or 3-1, even if you win 3 out of 4, let's say you drop one of those games to the Magic, because it is tough. You know, it's tough to beat a team 2 times in a row, and it's the Celtics team isn't like, doesn't look like amazing, right? So let's say you go 3-1 over that stretch. Like 5-6 is not like that looks a lot better than. It looks a lot better than like where they would be coming out of this stretch here, right? Like that's so, yeah, no, I think when you look at like the way that we kind of talked about this team, like before the season and what we predicted, I felt, we were talking before we got on, I still feel pretty good about all of it. This did nothing. These starting 1 and 3 did nothing to change my mind about where I think this team is. I think you saw them lose to a much better team in the Knicks. You saw them almost beat a somewhat comparable team in the Sixers. You saw, like, that was a really close game. Like that, Matt, we just got done, talking all this nice stuff about Maxey, but like that Sixers team is like, okay, right? Okay. And like really close Pistons were tailor-made to beat the Celtics. Like they were good. Yeah. That was a tough game. Yeah. That's going to be a tough matchup for the Celtics all year. And then they beat a worse team in the Pelicans. I think that's what we're looking at this year. I think that's why we're both like, yeah, this Cleveland game is going to be tough. Like they're probably going to lose that one because Cleveland is the better team. And I don't know how many games the Celtics are going to win against teams where you're like, that team is better. But if they can beat most of the worst teams and be about 500 on the teams that are at their level, I think you're kind of okay. I think that's where you start to look at like, yeah, you're play in your 6th seed, whatever it is. That's how you get to that, is just be 500 against the comparable teams, win most of your games against the bad ones. And that's what we've seen so far.
That my follow-up was going to be where our level of confidence was that they can do what they do. And I am 100% in agreement with you. I think the win against the Pelicans kind of confirmed everything that you just said, that they didn't play a different game. They beat a team that was worse than them. And they are, just like I've said, I don't know, a dozen times at this point, exactly what you said. They're not going to beat the better teams. They're just once in a while.
Might pick off a couple,
right? Like they could win. They could beat the Cavs, right? It's not out of the question. They probably won't, but that doesn't mean
really hard to imagine Donovan Mitchell not. But anyway, yeah,
they probably have like a 25 to 30% chance of winning that game. But that doesn't mean that means that you play 10 times, you win 3. Maybe this is one of those 3. Maybe the shooting. Maybe they shoot 45% from 3. The Cavs are cold, and the Celtics just do a math and win that game. That is possible against the good teams. Same thing's going to happen against bad teams where they're going to math their way out of it with bad shooting. But it will all level off. Ultimately, lose to the good teams, beat the bad teams, and what happens in that creamy middle is where you're going to get to that 44, 45 wins. I don't know, like 44, 45 is still a bit optimistic because you're asking for a lot of improvement, but I do think that by January, February, I'm not taking any Jayson Tatum stuff into account here. By January, February, there is a point here where we're just looking at the February schedule. There's an all-star break here, but Milwaukee, Dallas, Houston, Miami, New York, Chicago. They could beat Milwaukee. I don't know. We'll see what Milwaukee is at that point. Giannis is doing work right now. Dallas, who the hell knows? Houston, we just talked about. We'll see. Miami, they can win. The Knicks are better, but we'll see. Chicago, I don't know what Chicago is. They seem okay, but those are winnable. Those are winnable. And then the West Coast trip's going to be difficult. You can split February by March. You have games. Let's see. You get Charlotte, Dallas. You got Washington in there. You got games that are winnable. There's no 7-game winning streak, but there might be a 3 or 4 in there somewhere. Yeah. And if this stuff comes together, if Jaylen's it takes time comes to pass and guys figure things out and things slow down for Derrick White and things slow down for Peyton Pritchard, and maybe Simons and Pritchard switch places and Simons becomes a starter and he's a little bit more comfortable and Pritchard's a little bit more comfortable coming off the bench, and things just come together a little bit and they become a slightly below average rebounding team as opposed to the worst rebounding team. They'll be okay. And I still feel like they'll finish above 500, wherever that lands. Maybe it's 42, maybe it's 44. I still think they're going to be an above 500 team. They can be an above 500 team. But I'll tell you, that stretch after the Houston game that I was just talking about, Utah, Washington, Orlando twice, if they flub that, then we're going to have to revisit that.
Yeah.
This is like, I don't want to make things pivotal or must wins because we're not talking about that. But when it comes to predictions, you got to go 3-1 in that Utah, Washington, Orlando twice stretch. Like if you go 3-1 or 4-0, then I feel good. If that's 2-2, 1-3 somehow, then okay, then we're going to start looking at below 500 team because that's just too much road to make up. So
yeah. And at that point you start At that point, you start having more dire conversations. Yes.
Right. So like we'll have to revisit this. November 10th is we're going to have to take stock a little bit again, and we'll wrap it up like this. I think that's what kind of team this Celtics team is. It's not even mile markers. It's the quarter mile markers. Yeah. What kind of pace you're looking at each lap, not each mile. Okay. How are we doing the first lap? Are we slowing down? Oh God, this is going to be tough to get through this entire race, so these little stretches. So that first stretch, that Houston game ends the first opening stretch. They got 1 win. Can they get 2? Can they get the 3? I don't know. The next stretch is those 4 games that I mentioned. You got to come out of that looking good. 1 game above 500, 1 game below 500. If not, so we'll see.
Yep.
All right. In the meantime, first things first, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Wednesday night in Boston. So we'll see. Tom, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
And I do appreciate you, the listeners, the everydayers, the people who have chosen to be with me every Monday through Friday. This week, it's Friday, it's Saturday, it's Sunday. So I'm here for you 7 days this week. It's 2 straight weeks of podcasting. It's all free. It's all available everywhere. It's all on YouTube. So watch, listen, comment, get into the comment section. And most importantly, please share the podcast. Tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.